Second grade, we have talked about two of the kinds of English sentences that we can have, but altogether there are four kinds of English sentences. So today we're going to learn about the other two kinds of English sentences. All right, the first one that we learned that we already talked about, I wrote it up here with the markings, so if you are familiar with those, we can read this word even though it's pretty big and 4 syllables. Declarative, right? Although we would say declarative to spell it, but we'll talk more about that later. A declarative sentence. If you remember what a declarative sentence does, shout it out at me. Very good. A declarative sentence makes a statement. All right, so when you're stating a fact, saying something that is the case, you would write a declarative sentence. Let's see, I can make a declarative sentence right now. It is 8:46 p.m. Making a statement. All right. What kind of end mark do we use at the end of a declarative sentence? All right, we use a period. So I'm going to go get a different color marker and put that up here. The main reason we're talking about the different kinds of sentences is that we want to make sure we're always using the right kind of end mark for our sentence. All right, so declarative sentence ends with a, oh my, that's very light. That's not helpful. That's better. Our declarative sentence ends with a period. All right. The next kind of sentence we talked about asks a question. Who remembers the big word for a sentence that asks a question? It's a big word. The word is interrogative. Can you say that with me? Interrogative. Excellent. An interrogative sentence asks a question. I'll write it up here so we can read it. Oh my, that's a 5-syllable word, but we can read it now that we have all the writings or all the markings in. Interrogative, right? That's from the same word as interrogate. So to interrogate, I asked Mr. Guerrero if he ever interrogated anyone when he was a police officer, and he said yes. And so that means to ask them questions, figure out what was going on. So an interrogative sentence asks a question. And what kind of end mark do we use at the end of an interrogative sentence? Right, since we're asking a question, we have to use our question mark, which looks like this. All right, so there are two more kinds of sentences for us to learn about. All right, our next sentence is called an imperative sentence. Can you say that with me? Imperative. Very good. And I'll write that up here. So an imperative sentence, let's see, well, the word imperative means kind of necessary. If Mrs. Hillick sends me an email and she says, it is imperative that you come to work early tomorrow, I know I have to get to work early tomorrow. So that is an imperative sentence, right? We can also call this a bossy sentence because an imperative sentence gives a command. Right, so if you are at school and it's time for us to be working in our math workbook, and I know that, and I see you just looking out the window, and I say, get to work, that's an imperative sentence. All right, let's read the word imperative. This says per, that's why I put the hat there, tiv. It actually says imperative, but we say imperative. All right, so that's a bossy sentence. It gives a command. The thing that is funny about imperative sentences is that the subject is not stated. So remember, the subject is the who or what our sentence is about. So if I say, get to work, well, wait a minute, there wasn't a who or a what in that sentence. So in an imperative sentence, it's understood that the subject is implied. The subject is the person who is being spoken to. All right. So if I say to one of the students, pick up your pencil, there's not the who or what, the subject of the sentence is not explicitly stated. I didn't say, your name, pick up your pencil. I didn't say, Mr. No, pick up your pencil. Not a student, but another teacher. But we're not saying the name, it's not explicitly stated, it's understood. It's understood that the subject is you. The subject is the person who so if I'm making an imperative statement to one of the students, it's understood that the subject is the student that I'm speaking to. If Mrs. Hillock is making an imperative sentence to me, it's understood that I am the subject. If Mrs. Hillock says, get to work early, she didn't say my name, she didn't state the subject, but it's understood in an imperative sentence, oh, I'm the subject. I'm the one who needs to get to work early. And an imperative sentence ends with a period. Right. So again, an imperative sentence gives a command. All right. Our last kind of sentence is called exclamatory. Can you say that with me? Exclamatory. All right, let me just pause it so I can write it up here for you. All right, our last kind of sentence, let's read the word together. Exclamatory is how we would say it to spell it, but of course when we're speaking we say exclamatory. All right, an exclamatory sentence expresses strong emotion. So, and it can actually be an imperative or an interrogative or declarative sentence. The difference is that it expresses strong emotion. Does anyone remember the name of the punctuation mark that we use when we are expressing strong emotion? All right. It's called an exclamation point. That kind of helps because exclam, it's from the same word, exclamatory, and exclamation point, and it looks like this. It's a little line above the period. So this will go all the way up to the baseline. All right, so anytime we see that at the end of a sentence, we know that we're expressing strong emotion. And in fact, the same words could be either a declarative or an exclamatory sentence, depending on how they're said. Let's say, so for example, maybe your mom or dad is telling you to pick up your toys, right? Because it's time to go to bed and they want you to clean up your toys. And they say, please pick up your toys. And then the next time, 5 minutes later, when you haven't done it, they say, pick up your toys. All right, so far, those have been imperative sentences. All right, and then they might ask you again, pick up your toys. And then again, they'll say, pick up your toys. And the fifth time they might say, pick up your toys, pick up your toys. Well, you can hear that there is some strong emotion there. All right, so the exclamatory sentence, we see that it's what defines it really is its exclamation point there. So it could be an imperative sentence that turns into an exclamatory sentence. We could even have a declarative sentence that turns into an exclamatory sentence. For example, if I say, it is so hot. Well, that's a declarative sentence. That definitely sounds like it has a period at the end. But if I've been walking around Phoenix for 4 hours in the summer and I'm just sweating and thirsty, I might say, it is so hot. And that would be an exclamatory sentence. All right, so we'll have these on our wall chart. Declarative, which uses what kind of end mark? Good, a period. Interrogative, which uses what kind of end mark? A question mark, right? Imperative, which gives a command and uses what kind of end mark? Excellent, a period. And exclamatory, which uses an exclamation point. All right, so what I would like you to do, let's see, I want you to look at, hopefully you don't, well, I wanted you to look at the papers we've been working on this past week. So if they're thrown away, then just do your best or try and pick words that you can spell. But I want you to write an exclamatory sentence. So think about something you could show strong emotion about. Let's see, we had the words cuter and cutest, and I could show strong emotion about those. Cuter things, cute and cuter things. Oh, those give me some strong emotions. Also different verbs, things you can do. So you could write an exclamatory sentence that says, I love to blank. Something like that. So your sentence today, I'm going to let you choose the content of it, but I want it to be an exclamatory sentence, and that means it will express strong emotions. And to help me know that it's expressing strong emotions, it will end with, very good, an exclamation point. All right, great work, second grade, and I'll see you next week.